Look into my eyes. What do you see? You might see a man who hasn't slept in 4.5 years because this freaking alt season is taking forever, isn't it? Baby dolls, we're going to speak through some interesting high-value content here for you. My friend Marty Farty has made this interesting post. It came up a few days ago. I want to share this with you, okay, because it's pretty cool. I made some posts just telling you, friends, like, markets, right? It's interesting because as humans, we have a worship gene. Do you know that? Right? I've spoken to you about it. A lot of UFO videos. We do have a worship gene. We love worshiping greatness. And it also reflects itself in markets. We love betting on the favorite. Okay? We worship greatness. We love betting on the favorite. A lot of women do this too, friends. Most women, they no one wants to like marry a guy who's still running the race. There's a saying that they wait at the end of the finish line and they marry the winner. Okay? We're all like this, okay? Now, it's not a gender thing. Men do the same thing too, right? Men, they, no one really wants to take notice in that, third division Scottish bottom tier team, and no one really wants to stick it out with them and see in 5 years if they can make maybe top 4, maybe they can go to the second division, etc. Okay? And it's actually the same thing in markets, which you and I are in. Now, you never want to be with consensus, friends, because consensus means your favorite, and if you're the favorite, it means all the eyeballs are on you, and if all the eyeballs are on you, that means there's no edge. It's red ocean. There's just too many eyeballs. If there's 100,000 people looking at something, 1% of them are smart. That's 1,000 people. You have 1,000 sharks who are smart, competitive, looking at something. That's 100,000 eyeballs. If you can look at something where there's only 10,000 people looking, or 1,000 people looking, do 1% of that, right? 1% of that is between 10 to 100 people. Do you want to compete in something where there's like 10 people looking at it who are smart, or 1,000 people? Okay, you always want to be looking at the thing with 10 people. So I just want to show you my post here from Marty Farty. He goes, soy, lana, and pui. So Sol and Sui will return more over the next year than Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's all you need to know. Rotate into an allocation. Bitcoin 40%, Soy 30%, Pui 20%, Sol and Sui infrastructure small caps, not personal business. So he's basically saying he believes the Sol ETH and Sol BTC ratio will go up, and same as Pui. And look, man, they can go up. I just want to remind you of something. The maximum consensus portfolio in crypto is long Bitcoin and long Solana. Okay, it is what it is. It's nothing bad to say, friends, I got Bitcoin. Okay, I got Bitcoin. There's nothing bad about them. It's so your expectations on it. Okay, you got to think about the crowd of people. In crypto, it's very punishing when you're with the crowd of people as well. All right, you don't get the rewards you're seeking. See, what we want to do, we want to join the favorite. And we want to win. Okay, but you also want your 100x. Okay? The 100x, think about it. You only get to buy a 100x because your asset, your crypto, your share is really hated. It means everybody's written it off for dead. That's why, friends, it's great in crypto. When crypto sells off 90%, you don't need to bet that it becomes profitable. Like, you don't need a company to like make a profitable product. You just need a community. Okay, the community is the asset. Okay, now most people in crypto haven't woken up to this because they're still trying to apply this old VC model to these pump and dump retailer grifter products, right? But that means you and I are still early. So you can't get best of both worlds. You can't buy a favorite that everyone says it's okay, but have it cheap at the same time. Okay, so now it depends, right? What do you want to do? Do you want to be right or do you want to make money? If you want to be right, you're seeking dopamine. Yeah, you're like, oh, everybody's in with me. It's going to be great. Okay. That is a different place, a different strategy, a different path than making money. Making money, no dopamine. Okay. It's like, hey, do you want to just be told you're great and get a participation trophy? Do you want let's say, friends, let's say you have a son. Let's say he's playing like football at school. And you know how they do all these old bullcrap participation trophies? Do you want your son to be like getting a bit of a dopamine hit? Like, wow, you came 9th. Congratulations. Amazing. Here's a trophy. Yeah, because they're getting a bit of a dopamine hit. Like, oh, I got something, right? Or do you want them to actually win? If you want them to actually win, well, no, you don't get a trophy. Trophy's for first, maybe second, right? If you want to win, you got to delay gratification. You got to go train. You got to get up in the mornings before school. Okay, you got to kick the ball around. You see what I mean? You got to improve. Same thing in markets. Okay, crypto, Twitter, and YouTube comments are all filled with NPC bots that are desperately praying for Bitcoin and soy to retire them, and it's not even close. Okay, and that's okay. People say, but Swami, everyone wants all their coins to retire them. Yeah, but when XRP people believed XRP was going to retire them, no one else in the crypto industry said it was going to happen. No one. When Pulse Chain and Hexagons are saying right now that Pulse Chain's undervalued and it's going to retire people, no one believes them. Okay? No one believes them. No one believed Cardano was going to go up in 2020. No one believed that. All right? They were not consensus. That's why they did the big moves. Okay? Soy's consensus now. Bitcoin is consensus. I hope they keep going up. I really do. I'm observing because I feel like it's my friendly responsibility to let you know an observation. So I don't make the rules. We've went through this. This market, this cycle has been super vicious to anybody mildly consensus. It's been like, it is just straight punishing. Look what happened to Ethereum. Give you an example. So Ethereum is contrarian. Ethereum is hated. Ethereum is the mothership of stablecoin supercycle, and Ethereum is turbo bull mode activated from Charmly. I will keep holding. So if you're in most altcoins, friends, if you got memes on Pulse Chain, even that you're pretty much slingshot leverage on Ethereum. You need Ethereum to rise. Okay, then you need the core coins of your native one, Avalanche, and all these other coins out here, friends. Even Cardano. Do you know Cardano? It relies on Ethereum going up as well. You can see it from the A to ETH ratio. And, those are like more serious, heavyweight type of consensus stuff out here. I've even showed you, friends, I know the odds have probably changed now, but when Ethereum was cucked, which still is cucked, right? But when it was like turbo cucked down at under $2,000 down here, friends, when Ethereum was turbo cucked, okay, and it started to like come back up to uncuckery 1800. I saw the poll, right? Ethereum actually was around 1800 to 2000 ish. But it wasn't poll, so it was real betting markets on Polymarket. Yeah, only 16% of people believed Ethereum would hit $8,000. 16, pretty much no one, right? The amount of people that thought Bitcoin was going to hit 200,000, it was 40%. And the amount of people who believed Solana was going to hit 1,000, even $800, was 60%. So compare these numbers, okay? Bullish. So you can see pretty much half of the holders in Soy and Bitcoin, turbo bullish. And with Ethereum, everyone's like, nah, down in the dumps. You see how that's how you get these big price reflective moves? That's why, friends, that's why you just see this up-only stuff. Do you remember I told you as well, everyone was turbo short meth? Everyone was turbo short meth. And I go, look, their average price is $3,000. I go, look, I hope it goes up only, but I'm being unbiased as well. Every time this lines up in markets, you got everyone turbo short, everyone spitting on it. The Cuck Mercantile Exchange, all these hedge funds, scum, all the quants, Wintermute, they're all short Ethereum. So that has to mean an up only, It's not a guarantee, but it raises the odds. Here's some fun friendship friends from Jim Cramer that came out earlier. He said, I do like that futures are down. So he was talking about earlier, okay, when he's referring to this. But he says, we all know September is awful. Okay, we all know September is awful. September is usually, remember, the US of A, not to be confused with the US of B, they return back from their summer holidays, end of August. Everyone gets at the desk in September and they look at everything, and because it's kind of like a psychological phenomena, a lot of the people, you're looking at it, you're like, because what's happened is you're so relaxed from your holiday, you get back to the office and then you've lost your appetite for risk. So when they look at the data again, they go, oh crap, I'm not feeling good about this economy, and they usually just click sell. That's usually the meme of what happens. People come into September, they just sell things first. That's why September's usually trash, right? And then obviously there's some black October years where October continues being trash. But that's why September's usually a bottom for the stock market, and then usually that's why they always measure October to March, April. For the S&P 500 is the up only part, and then you have the sell in May, go away. That's what it is. Sell in May, go away, come back, and start buying in the September crash. That's usually what the seasonality is. But it makes you wonder about inverse Oracle God, Jim Cramer, as well. Now, you and I, of course, we just have to navigate all of these uncertainties together. But I hope you learned a lesson, friends, on this consensus stuff. Remember, you can look. Let's say there's a tennis player, and he's $1.03 to win. This is very, very common, right? He's $1.03 to win the match, which means if you lose, you'll lose $1, but if you win, you win 3 cents. Okay, you know he can win like 7 times. He can. It's just if you're constantly betting on favorites, you know you're going to get wrecked. The odds, there's no edge there looking at it. And that's what it comes down to markets, right? You just don't want everyone looking at it. It's also, it's one of the reasons why I say Warren Buffett doesn't tell you and me what stocks he's looking at. No one does. Because if they're looking for value, remember, it's value because no one's looking there. You get it? You're always looking where no one's looking. If you tell everybody, hey, I'm looking here, then they go, oh, why is that thing cheap? Oh, that's a good company, actually. It shouldn't be down there. You get what I mean? And they're trying to front run stuff. It's a tragedy of the commons. We constantly seek approval from the crowd, our tribe, because that's your survival instinct. When we're in tribes, 200 people in the clan, you're seeking approval from everyone. So if you do something and everyone's thinking what you're doing is bad, you'll get kicked out. You don't get to have any Pokeballs anymore. You don't get to have babies with women. You don't get to eat the cherries, eat the berries. You get no shelter. You're just kicked out. Okay, that's why it's inbuilt in our DNA to seek approval from the crowd, but it gets you killed in markets. Okay, so have a think about consensus stuff out here, friends. I want you to have a think about these as we move on throughout the cryptocurrency cycle. And like I said, man, there are times in the stock market, this is what shocks people, where the market gets priced to perfection and then the earnings actually come out perfect. Yeah, that actually has happened in the stock market. It happens. And when it happens, it's like, okay, you don't have a recession, but like it just continues as normal. Yeah. That's the thing. So you're not looking for, you don't know when these things are going to play out. You don't know. Because there's the stock market can price the next year for perfection or average or rubbish. You know what I mean? So good, medium, bad. It can price things like that. If it's priced for perfection, you just got to think about, okay, if you're always long when everything's priced for perfection, if it has to unwind, you got a lot of weak hands to get out. Okay, that's what makes it tough. That's why in the S&P 500, you're okay. You can get away with murder, right? Because that's why they have a 60-40 bond portfolio. Because if it unwinds, people will buy the bonds. Okay, but in crypto, you don't get so lucky because like you're just dealing with network values, and you know the volatility of them is absolutely insane. That's why it's really important to just in crypto, you got to look at what's consensus. You know. Trust me, it's hard as well. It's not, you might say something, is there a formula or a page? No, there isn't. There isn't. We sit here 18 hours a day. I just watch all these KOLs and I'm like, oh, Bitcoin soy, Bitcoin soy, Bitcoin soy, Bitcoin soy, Bitcoin soy. And which is okay, man. Bitcoin and soy has done well. Yeah, that's past 1.5 years. I don't care about the past. I'm looking at the next 1.75 years, right? Just like friends with Trump flopping out his meme coin. He unzipped his pants, flopped out his meme coin, and everyone's saying, it's just starting. Slowdown is about to kick off. And I'm thinking, who's next? Who's next? Okay, you all know the president chose the chain for a floppy willy meme coin. What else is there? Oh, Kanye West will launch a coin. He did. Peaked in 45 minutes, not even. Then rug only, okay? So that's why this game is hard if you're going to be picking this stuff out here. But if you stick to long-term growing network effects, we eventually win. When is that eventually going to play out? We'll see. Like, subscribe, believe it or not. Catch you soon.